afternoon. Welcome, everybody. I hope, first of all, I hope that you are all okay. We are having a very hard time with the pandemic. There is a social and economic crisis that is affecting the community in general and companies. And of course, this crisis is also affecting us as foundation. This year, Kudeca has become obliged to take very difficult and hard decisions. And we need more than ever the financial help from the community and the institutions. We have started a crowdfunding campaign to raise the sum of 185,000 euros by January the 6th. This amount of money will go towards paying a home care team for a year. We are sure that we will achieve that goal. Finally, we want to thank to help provided by Caixa Bank, who has donated the sum of 30,000 euros to start the crowdfunding campaign. Wishing this pandemic situation to end as soon as possible, I want to thank all of you to be here today, and I say my warmest greetings. Say that I want to pass the word to our Vice President, Susan Hanna, which is with us today as well. Thank you very much. Susan, you have the word.
Well, thank you very much, Ricardo, and welcome to everybody. It's lovely to see some faces that we haven't seen for so many weeks, months, ages. So it's lovely to have you all here. As Ricardo says, Kudeca is passing through a difficult time. We are still having more patients every year, and we have 6 home care teams at the moment. So this is what we want the money for, to pay for another home care team, because the numbers of patients are going up all the time. Later, Marisa will give you some more details about this. So this is why we want to get this crowdfunding going. And we're into lots of different media so that we'll be able to hopefully get people on board with this. Well, first of all, I'd like to pass the word to Marilyn Serjbinga. I'm not certain how to say that. And she is the director of Caixa Bank. And the Caixa Foundation has been helping Kudeca for 11 years. They help us to give the emotional support to patients and their families. And they are continuing to help us, and even with this crowdfunding. So you'll get more details about this later on, but I pass the word on to Marina. Thank you.
Hello, good morning or good afternoon. I'm Marina. I'm so sorry, but something happened with my video, so unfortunately I can't fix it. Okay, so I've been on and now disappeared. Thank you very much to let us participate in this meeting. Unfortunately, it's online, but it's the only way we could do it. Yeah. So there, as been told before, so this is very important that this pandemic, in this pandemic crisis, could permit us to continue with essential care to the people who are in the last days. So it's very important as well in these days that as much as possible people could participate and could make donation and put some money for to permit to this person to have a very good life quality in their last days. To join this sunflower effect, it's a very so we are very proud of this, and in the donation, so we could permit that all these special palliative care could reach to all person who needs it. So, and we ask as well collaborate the Malaga Society, and so with all the as much as possible, so we could help to the foundation. So that's unfortunately, I tell you. So I have a very close case because my father is now with the cancer, which is you can't so we can't do anything, only to support him and help him. So that's why I understand very close this problem. And so like I shall already collaborate with some money to have this special system, so which could help to a lot of patients. And thank you. So, and nothing more to add, Susan.
Thank you very much for those words, and I hope that your father is is as well as he possibly can be.
Thanks a lot.
Well, then we'll pass over to Marisa Martin, who is the CEO and medical director of Kudeca, and she's going to explain about the COVID crisis and the situation of the care that Kudeca gives. Thank you, Marisa.
Thank you. Good morning and welcome to everybody, and thank you for being there. It's a difficult way to communicate, I know, but it's the only way we have right now. And while I get my presentation ready, I just wanted to comment an article that I recently read about this pandemic. And the article stated that a pandemic is a cause and a powerful amplifier of human suffering through physical illness and death, through fears and anxieties, and through financial and social instability. And it's up to society to alleviate this suffering. So as you can see, it describes very well what we are all going through right now. And Kudeca is also living this difficult situation. Kudeca is formed by people that were motivated by Joan Hunt. When long time ago, it's nearly 30 years ago, she committed and decided to lead the community, to lead the volunteers, to really be able to produce this dream come true that she was so determined to have, which is Kudeca Hospice. And she wanted people that were suffering, especially cancer at that moment, to receive the special kind of care that she knew about and that she had received when she was cared for with her husband, Fred. And she had it very clear from the beginning that the community and the volunteer were going to be the base of our project, because I always asked her where we're going to get the money from, where we're going to be able to develop the whole project, all the caring service. And she had a very straight, with no fear, confidence that that was going to be possible thanks to the community. And that's how we began a long time ago. It was the community that stood there for us. And only 8 years afterwards, we had the whole project built. And in that hospice, we have our daycare services for the patients to come and spend quality time, quality little bits of life in this daycare center, our physiotherapy program, which is so important for our patients. Of course, the inpatient, when patients have a more difficult situation, a more complex or intense symptoms, so that we can care for them daily. And in 2008, now 10 years ago, the Caixa supported all our care, bringing in also the funding and also the training to have a psychosocial team to go with all these different services that Codeca was offering, with psychologists and social workers. And they have been funding this program for, as I say, 10 years right now. And of course, the home care teams, which are the main teams of Codeca, we have right now, as Susan said, 6 home care teams. And of those 6, only 3 are funded by the government, by our Junta de Andalucía. We are now negotiating with them to have at least 5 partially funded by them. And we hope that in next year this will be. But of course, we've got that home care team number 6, which we are now doing this crowdfunding for. And these teams, all these teams, the inpatient unit, the daycare center, and the home care teams, we care for a whole population of Malaga of 900 people, and mainly distributed thanks to this contract with the Junta de Andalucía in all the Costa del Sol area, in the Guadalhorce, in the inner village area, and also in Malaga area. And as you can see, the number of patients has been growing constantly, but in this green point that you can see here, in the last 5-6 years, the number has just doubled. And that is a huge responsibility for Codeca to be able to care for all those patients. Last year, the total number of patients we cared for was 1,500 practically. So it's a big load of work to be able to care for all these patients each year. And of course, the changes arrived and we had to close the daycare center. Is difficult for patients to be with patients because of the fragile situation they could be in and the contagious of the infection. And of course, volunteers, the Junta does not permit volunteers in the hospitals or in the social daycare centers. So right now, the daycare center has to be closed. The home care teams have to work in a different way. They use the same as we are using right now. And actually, during the lockdown, they had to reduce the home visits, as you can see here in the red arrows. But the good thing is that they compensated not being able to do all these home visits with many telephone calls. You can see in the same time, they did 4,000 more telephone calls than the year before. And they only did 130 less visits in the whole time of the pandemic up to now. The inpatient unit has been able to continue caring for those complex situations with all, of course, the protection measures that we've had to put into place. And we are very happy that we have not had any patient with COVID, or we haven't had a big situation of our staff with COVID, because then we would have had to close the inpatient unit. That's why the protection is so important when we care for patients in our unit. And the number of patients, as Ricardo said at the beginning of the presentation, our president, hasn't come down. As you can imagine, it is true that we talk about COVID patients now, and it's normal because it is a big human tragedy we're living. But of course, our patients are still there, and they're still coming in every month, new patients. You can see the average has even grown in the last months in this red line. And the average of new patients per month can be around 85 to 90. So there's a lot of patients waiting for our care every day. We estimate that by the end of the year, we will have cared for 1,600 patients and their families. So many things have changed, but what has not changed and will never change in Codeca is our special kind of caring. And with that special kind of caring, we try to add life to the days of our patients. And many of you will know that the sunflower is our logo, and we really are very proud of it. And in the language of the sunflowers, a sunflower means I will always turn to you. And we think it's so beautiful to think that the sunflower is our logo, because it really represents our values, and it represents what we want to do for the patients and their families. We want to stand by them. We will always look towards them, and we'll always give them our helping hand if we have the resources, of course. And this is what this campaign wants to do. The sunflower effect means we need you. We need you to be those sunflowers looking towards Kudeka and offering us your helping hand. And that's the sunflower effect. And with that sunflower effect, we will be able to continue adding life to days. That's what Joan wants us to do. This is quite, I think it was a month ago we made this picture together. And she had her faith in the community, in the volunteers. During the first, I would say the first nearly 15 years of Kudeka, it was the English community living on the Costa del Sol that made this dream come true. And now more than ever, we need your help. So thank you for being here today, and thank you for helping.
Thank you very much, Marisa. It brings a lot of things to light, the presentation. But now I'm going to pass on to Rafael Olaya, who is our financial director, and he will explain the more difficult part.
Hello, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome. Nice to see you again, some of you, and because we repeat this presentation 1 week ago. So, excuse me 1 moment, I'm going to get the control of the presentation. Okay. Ready. Perfect. We are presenting today this new campaign, which is called Join the Sunflower Effect. I'm going to start explaining you very briefly our economic situation at the moment. This is back to March, the budget we were facing for 2020, which was a very healthy budget with expenses. The budget was 4.7 million euros, and the income was expected to be 4.8 million euros. So the year was going to be covering expenses. Then this pandemic came, all this virus crisis, and we have been affected very hard in two very specific areas. One of them is the charity shops. You can see here, the blue line is the sales of 2019, and the red line is this year's sales. You can see the tremendous drop here during the lockdown. We are losing maybe 150,000 euros per month in these 3 months. And then we opened the shops at the end of May, and we started recovering, you can see here. And around August, we were very close to meet the sales of last year. But then September, October, the bad evolution of the pandemic is provoking again that we are selling less and less than compared to last year. So in charity shops, we will probably lose this year around 600,000 euros. Another big area which is affected, as everybody knows, is the events. Practically now are very close to zero compared to last year, because we cannot organize any event at the moment. So in this in events, we are going to lose around 240,000 euros this year. So that's why the Board of Trustees has been very worried since March, and has been meeting nearly every week, preparing measures to save expenses, to cut costs. And the year, it was expected 4.7 million euros. We have cut down the expenses more than 500,000 euros. through reduction of salaries, through furlough, temporary employment for some people. So all this together has not been enough. In September, we were accumulating losses of 400,000 euros. And for next year, we estimate a minimum or approximately 700,000 euros loss if we don't change the situation. So this is the idea that why we are meeting today. We have to move. We have to find alternatives of fundraising. So we are putting in motion this campaign of crowdfunding. We want to get to those hundreds of people that usually were helping us through events that now they are not. We want to get to the community to ask them a donation as generous as anybody can towards this campaign, which is called, as I said before, Join the Sunflower Effect. You can see here the image of the campaign. And again, as Susan said before, our main sponsor is Fundación La Caixa. They have already given 30,000 euros towards the campaign. So thank you very much, Marina, who is today representing here Ola Bank from CaixaBank. Thank you very much for this tremendous help. What is this campaign for? We don't want a repetition of what we have experienced with the COVID crisis. Many people have died alone and without access to palliative care. So we don't want that to be repeated. What are we focusing on? We need funds to maintain a multidisciplinary home care team. It's not to contract a new home care team. We want to maintain one of the 6 that we have already in motion. We would very much like to have more home teams, but we do not have funds for that. We want to maintain one of the 6 we have. The financial target we are aiming is 185,000 euros. And how can the people help? If they go to this web page, there they will find how to donate to this campaign. Sorry about this, but it's basically going through this web page. All the donations can be done. Fundación La Caixa not only helped us through that tremendous and generous donation, they have also given us all the facilities to help and collaborate in the crowdfunding. So you could do the donation through the cash machines, also in the Caixa branches, through the web, and also doing a bank transfer to this bank account that will be publicized in every media, and also through the Visum of Cudeca in this number. We will be holding a great event in the 23rd of December, which will be a TV gala held by the 101 TV. And then there we will have performances, interviews, and a charity challenge. Donations could be made through the SMS, this number, 28014. So this will be a great event very close to Christmas. And it's great that so many institutions and companies have already given us their support in this campaign. You can see here the Benalmádena Council, the Málaga Council, Fundación La Caixa, of course, Fundación Club La Costa, the Commerce Association of Benalmádena, and so many, a lot of more companies, and of course, many media will collaborate with us in the publicizing of all this campaign. So hopefully by the 6th of January, we will reach this challenge, which is not that big, 185,000 euros, we can achieve it. So thank you very much to all of you. And I pass the word to Marisa Martin.
Well, thank you. As you can see, we are motivated to this challenge. I was just doing some numbers before, and with the Kaisha's support already and some other supports that we know are coming in, we've already got a 20% of the challenge, Rafa. So that's good news. And we've only been nearly not even a week with the campaign, and we've got a 20% in. So I think that's good news, and that can help us be optimistic. In this presentation, we thought it was important not only for us, the people that make Kudeka reality, to present what we are and what we're doing, but we thought it was important also to have what it meant for somebody that we had cared for. And this is what we are going to see now. It's the testimonial of a Spanish lady. She is a volunteer, and she's the mother of a very special young man called Pablo Raiz. I'm sure most of you have seen Pablo on the news and on the television, because he was able to orchestrate a big campaign to donate medulla ósea. Help me, Susan. I'm a bit blocked with my English today.
Bone marrow.
That's right. And he was a very generous and brave boy. And his mother has done this video for us to explain what it meant for his last day to be cared for by Kudeka. So she does talk in Spanish, of course, but we have subtitles to it. So if you can put the video in, Jorge, please. By the way, her name is Rosa María Martínez Nieto.
Ese momento tan difícil cuando está atravesando una enfermedad y ya, cuando ya ves que ya no hay salida, ¿cómo se hace? ¿Cómo cuidar de Pablo cuando está Pablo ya tan mal en la casa, ¿no? Que no tiene fuerzas, que no puede comer? Entonces, cuando contactamos con Kudeka, pues vinieron dos ángeles. Para mí, ver a aquellas dos mujeres que venían a mi casa y que lo trataban con esa ternura, claro que es que eso era un bálsamo, porque lo estaban cuidando, le estaban haciendo cosas que yo no le podía hacer. Ese consuelo fue fundamental. Esa ternura con que en este sofá, porque Pablo estuvo en este sofá hasta el final, está aquí y está Rosa explicándole todo con esa dulzura, con esa ternura sobre la medicación, adiestrándome a mí de cómo puedo ir aumentando las dosis en la medida que él lo va necesitando, ¿no? Los cuidados que le tengo que dar para esterilizar, para cuidarle la herida, para administrar las dosis. Y Maribel, ¿no? Con esa paciencia, con esa ternura, escribiéndome todo, la medicación que le va a poner, las recetas que tengo que comprar, hablando con él, preguntándole cómo está, interesándose personalmente, humanamente, ¿no? Por cómo está. Y él, que era una persona tan sensitiva, tan receptiva, pues claro, se tranquilizaba un montón, porque iba recibiendo todo ese amor, ¿no? Esa ternura que le estaban dedicando, ¿no? Con tanto respeto, con tanto amor. Es que eso no se puede hacer si no es de verdad con amor. Yo iba a Kudeka a colaborar como voluntaria. Es lo único que me daba paz en todos estos casi 4 años ya de duelo de Pablo, ¿no? Cada vez que he puesto la hucha para ponerle a alguien un girasol, el símbolo de los cuidados paliativos, ¿no? que tiene Kudeka, yo me sentía bien. Kudeka me ayuda, incluso cuando él ya no está, ¿no? Porque me permiten ayudar y ayudar es lo mejor del mundo.
Well, it's a very intense testimony that she's given, and we thank her very much for being so clear in this. Well, now I'm going to pass you on to Charmian, She's the British consul for Andalusia, the Canary Islands, Ceuta and Melilla. Charmian, it's over to you.
I don't think you can see me. Let me turn it. Oh, that's better. Now you can see me. Yes, can you hear me as well? Brilliant. So can I just say a huge thank you, first of all, to the organisers of today's event for inviting me to participate in this, the official launch of the Sunflower Effect. And it's kind of a real privilege to even be allowed to make this very small contribution to the incredibly important work that's carried out by Kudeka and all of the Kudeka supporters. I don't think I need to tell anybody that's on this call anything about the value of the work that Kudeka is involved with. And I remember, I'll share a personal reflection with you if I can. I remember the first time that I visited Kudeka, Marisa and Susan will probably remember as well. I think I was with Roslyn, probably. And it was the first time that I met Joan. And I remember just being overwhelmed by the force of her character and the fact that here's this very, very little woman, yeah? But the things that she had managed to achieve, and that she had taken strength out of what had been a personally very sad situation for her, and she had decided that she didn't want other people to experience what she had experienced with the lack of support for her husband. And of course, you know, we know that there's the hospice there, we know that there's the home care team, the daycare facilities, the day centre facilities. But what I found amazing was that Kudeka had not stopped at that, but it was always looking forward to what else it could do. And so I can't remember whether it was on the way in or the way out. We met a group of people who had come from somewhere else in Spain who were interested in setting up a hospice somewhere else. And of course, the experience was nowhere else. And the fact that, you know, that all of you that work in Kudeka were kind of trailblazing and trying to share that experience so that other people would also have the benefit of hospices. And then moving on to trying to professionalise the sector and ensure that there was proper accreditation for it, and working with the University of Malaga. So for me, I'm just incredibly impressed with the way, with the commitment, but also with the way that Kudeka continues to try and spread that message and to share the experience that it has, so that more and more people benefit from hospice care and from home care as well. I would just like to share a little personal story with you, which is that a few years ago, an aunt of mine was suffering with cancer, and she died from cancer. But it was, what was particularly striking was that it wasn't until she was in the very, very late stages of her illness that she actually told her family that she was ill. And the reason why she hadn't told her family was because she didn't want to burden them. Yeah. And she knew that they would be worried, and she knew that they would not know how to cope. And for me, that was a really personal, it gave me a really personal understanding of the work of the home care teams and the work of the hospice, because initially she had a home care team, probably the Macmillan nurses that were coming in and that were looking after her. And she was able to share what she was feeling with them without feeling that she was burdening her family. And it strikes me that in these days where we have COVID, and it's really interesting what Marisa was saying earlier, you know, we all know that there's a pandemic, but maybe what we forget is that there are also people who are very ill, who are not affected by the pandemic, but who are choosing now, perhaps more than ever, that they want to spend their last days at home with their families, with their loved ones. I listened to a piece on Radio 4 this morning, and they were saying that there was a significant increase in the UK, and I'm sure it will be exactly the same in Spain, an increase in the number of people who were actively choosing to spend their last days at home. And of course, what this means is that at a time whenever Kudeka is already seeing this massive fall off in income that Rafa talked to us about before, it's also seeing an increase in demand for the home care services, which really puts into context the importance of this campaign and of the need to reach that 185,000, and let's break that 185,000 target. Yeah. I was just going to say that the home care team kind of needs your support, that the community needs our support. But I just want to reflect on one last thing, which is that we all take for granted that when when parents are expecting a baby, yeah, that there will be lots of support to bring that life into the world. And wouldn't it be lovely that we all recognise that when people are leaving, they deserve the same amount of support, that they and their families deserve and need as much support to leave in the way that they choose to leave. My commitment is that I will join the Sunflower Effect campaign. I will donate, and I will tell my friends in the embassy so that they can also donate. So I really hope that everybody here will tell a friend and make sure that 2020 does count. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Charmian. That was wonderful. The message, yeah, it must go forward. It must go all over. And as you say, we could be able to get even more, which would be absolutely wonderful. Well, now I'm going to open the meeting for any questions. Does anybody have any questions about what we've been talking about?
Doesn't have to be a question. It could just be perhaps a sharing of whatever you would like to share.
Hello, it's Marina. So I'm more than questions as well, like you are telling that it's sharing. So it's like a call to all society that we all have to contribute and we all have to participate in this type of this type of crowdfunding, because all of us could be the next, let's say, so nobody are saved. So that's why to be better person and to be better society, we have to collaborate. Thank you.
Thank you, Marilyn. That yes, you're quite right. Absolutely. Anybody else want to make a comment?
Yes, Susan. Hi, it's David. My question would be: you say that you're using all the various forms of social media to get the message out. I've made some notes and I've taken some screenshots, but how can I get that message out to my friends more on a one-to-one? Is there a very small version of this presentation that you could let us have that we could talk about? You know, half a dozen of the slides, maybe something like that?
Well,
Yes.
yeah, Rafa.
David, we were planning to send next week a message to all volunteers, both in English and Spanish, with a summary and the possibility to very easily resend the message.
Fantastic.
So next week you will have whatever we decide, but if you need more, just ask me. I will send whatever you specifically need. But a standard message will be sent next week for you all volunteers.
Fantastic, thank you.
And also, this session has been video has been copied,
recorded,
and we will be able to have it on our YouTube line. So the Spanish version is already up there. So we have this so that also your messages, not only ours, but Charmaine's, Marina's, that's nice to have other people sending the message out too.
Anybody else who wants to make a comment? Or
Susan, I have to leave. Then I want to thank to everybody to be here with us. And just I want to recommend strongly to join to the sunflower effect. That is really very healthy for us and for the community. And I'm sure that all of you will contribute to that. Please send a message to all your friends, all the relatives, everybody you know. We have to reach the goal before January 6th, and I'm sure that we got it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ricardo. And yes, absolutely. Send it out to everybody, all your contacts, because we all have different contacts, so it'll all spread out. And that's what the crowdfunding is all about. So let's go for it. Thank you.
Very much.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
And thank you for everybody. Lovely to see you all. Fantastic. I wish we could see in the flesh. It won't be long. It'll be less time than before. So
Okay.
hope to see you very soon.
Thank you.
Okay then. Right.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.